Coach Steve Green, head coach South Plains College Texans, and coach, a couple of tough ones for you, but you got a couple of big ones taken care of. Start out at New Mexico Junior College. You said right out of the gate this was going to be a tough place to win, but you figured out how to get it done.
Well, we hit a shot at the end, or some critical shots along the way, to get us back into the game. But I know they're a good team, and we expected as much. It's a very tough environment to play in, small, kind of a bandbox type deal, a lot of enthusiasm. And I think it got their players pretty jacked up, and I think it's something we can probably expect. With a lofty ranking like we have, we're probably going to absorb everybody's best shot.
Meanwhile, in that ball game, Henderson gets the 2 or 3 free throws late in the game. He also gets the 3 to finish, and those are great shots. But boy, I looked at the tape of how Henderson got set up for that final 3. You got a couple of good screens to spring him loose, and frankly, I don't know if New Mexico knew where he came from. I had to go back and look at the tape to figure out how he got to where he got.
Well, if I remember correctly, we had an out of bounds play set, and they called timeout, I think, and to try to see what our alignment was, and so. During the timeout, then basically all we did was we just kind of moved a couple of people around, and we still ran the same play anyway. And it's kind of a screen-to-screener type deal. But there was a collision in the middle of the lane, and one of our guys dove down the middle, which we normally don't do in that particular play. And 2 of their guys, one that was responsible for guarding Marshall coming off the screen, they ran into each other and fell down. And Stanton, a kid who's supposed to screen for Marshall, didn't know who to screen. He saw a guy laying down, so I think he just kind of jumped on him. I guess, I don't know. Or it just looked like about three people fell down.
Yeah, it looked like a pile up, for sure.
And then look at here's Marshall wide open over there. So, I mean, it was a big shot. It's a shot he makes a lot. I mean, he works on catching and shooting, and we had 2 options in it. We didn't need a 3. We needed a 3 to win, but a 2 to tie. And we felt like Stanton screening, all the attention would go to Marshall, and maybe he could slip the screen, and maybe we get into another overtime. But as it turned out, I guess we were ready to come on home early, and so let's go ahead and make the shot and get out of here.
Meanwhile, you do this contest without services. Yannick Marrera, and I really thought you had a couple of guys stepped up, played well in the post. Got into some foul trouble late, but still were able to manage that post even without the big man underneath.
Yeah, the thing that we noticed that was different was that we usually guard a certain way on the perimeter and whatever, with the security of knowing behind that he cleans up some mistakes for us and what have you, and that was not there, and so we got beat a lot on some pick and rolls over on the side, and then we just didn't rotate, like we used to do. Yannick usually comes across and cleans that up for us, and or at least alters shots and whatever. But we didn't have that shot blocking presence in there the other night.
You come home, you get another big win against Howard. You talked about them as well, being one of those teams you could kind of mark on your card as a potential playoff team. You did it a little different way. Marshall Henderson was quiet, still got some points. But with the amount of traction he attracted, it seemed to me like a lot of other guys get freed up in that offense.
Well, it was almost like they boxed and won us in a way. I mean, they kind of softened up on 4 other guys and really focused on him. And as long as he kind of stayed out of the fray, he would extend the defense. It kind of turned into a 4-on-4 game for us, and which is all right because. Yannick is such a threat inside, and then Devontae is really playing well now. So we had a couple of runs where I think we got to 7 once, and then they had to really work hard to get back into it. And then we got a couple more where we got to 5 and 6 and what have you. But we couldn't get any farther. We could not get any further away from them than that. And I kind of expected as much. I felt like they would give us the best game of anybody we play this year, and because I just think they match up well with us, and they actually, if they put in the certain personnel, certain times they're really bigger than us. And you think, well, you got a 6'11" guy, yeah, but he's thin, and the big kid they have, Godfrey, I think's his name, he's 6 for 9 against us. I mean, he's a really good player. And then they brought that other big kid, I don't remember what his name was, 44, and so there's a lot of bulk out there, and they shoot well. So. Hey, it's not going to be fun going down there. We need to take care of a lot of stuff between now and then, and hopefully maybe we can hold on to a 2-game lead. Going back into that spot down there where maybe it would be academic at that particular point. But I think they're really, really good, and I do not look forward to playing them again for sure. Don't look forward to playing them for a third time.
You get ready to go next against Western Texas, make the trip to Snyder here coming up on Thursday. What are some of your concerns coming into that basketball game?
Well, first-year coach, they're completely different style than what has previously been played there. Not much of an inside presence. They kind of spread it out. I call it kind of like the Christmas tree offense. It's they point and a couple of wings and a couple of guys further out, and they just dribble drive you. And and if you're not sharp and ready to move your feet and what have you, you get yourself in foul trouble. They try to empty out the basket, take people away, take your help away, take our shot blockers away from the basket, things of that sort. So we got to be ready for a little bit of everything. I think it's a good attack for the players that they have and what have you. And they've played Midland at 2, I think, maybe over there, and they played Howard close at the beginning of the year. So we're going to have to be on top of our game, or anybody can jump up and whack you.
It's kind of an interesting look going down there with that spread out offense, that Christmas tree as you called it. Good news is a lot of your shot blockers are pretty fast guys. Stanton Kidd's not a slow guy by any stretch of imagination. Yannick Morera kind of changes things a little bit, but other than that, you're pretty quick across the perimeter.
Well,
I think
we're not slugs. I will say that we're not physically imposing either. I mean other than just our length, but we're not a rough and tough rumble group of guys, but we do have long arms and long legs and what have you. So we stretch out and guard the floor pretty well. But I say if they take you away from the basket, you could look up and see Stanton or Yannick guarding somebody that's 6'3", 6'4", outside, shooting threes too. So, and that presents a little bit of a problem. The other night we got caught with Stanton trying to guard Siobhan. I can't remember what his last name was. A kid from Howard, that kid from Louisiana, and he had 4 threes on us. And Stanton's not used to guarding a guard, so to speak. And so it's a little bit of that same type of challenge for us.
You get ready from there, you go on in to take on Nemi, you get to come home for the Mexico Military Institute, but all of a sudden here we are, we're on the turn already. And frankly, a lot of basketball to be played, but you still got that big 0 on one side of the card, and frankly, sometimes it becomes a target a little bit, as you mentioned before.
Well, it's definitely a target, but I would rather be shot at than having to shoot at people. So, we're enjoying it right now. Long may it last. The Mexico Military's got a good team. I think they got that. Their record doesn't necessarily reflect it. I think it's the best team they've had probably in a half a dozen years. They've got good players at every position. They shoot well. I'm really glad that this game's here, and I wish the next one was as well. But hey, it's the luck of the draw, and it doesn't really work that way.
All right, Coach. Final thoughts for us before we let you get out of here.
I thought we had a really good crowd the other night. Hopefully that'll continue. I know, if you continue to win games, people get excited and what have you. And I hope we can attract a few more people, in town and get them to come out here. The game with the Mexican Military is an early start. I think it's at 6:30. There'll be a lot of stuff going on here the next week or so. We got Midland then the following Thursday, so it's a big week here.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time as always. Thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you after the ballgame.
All right.